Hi, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at a watch by Ianuarius Ritchie, if that's how it's correctly pronounced. And they've got two models. Basically, they're exactly the same: white dial and black dial. Obviously, this one is the white dial, so it's the JR001R is the model number. So they both have exactly the same specs, apart from literally the different dial. So this watch will cost £255. Its RRP is $345. So, however the going exchange rate is. Let's talk about the specs. So 40mm in diameter. It has a very thin profile. The height is a mere 6.875mm and a lug-to-lug length of 47.5mm. So if I put it on my wrist, my 7.25-inch wrist, you will see there that to me, I think it's perfectly sized. 40mm in diameter for a smart dress watch, absolutely spot on. It's got an incredibly thin profile as well because of that height. So for that reason alone, I think it's a great dress watch. Looks wise, it's not too bad either, but obviously we'll get onto that in a bit. Weight wise, it's only 63 grams, so again, it's very lightweight, very easy to wear because of this. You can wear it all day long. It's very comfortable to wear as well, and you wouldn't even notice you've got it on. For some people though, that may cause a bit of concern because it doesn't feel as high quality as a heavier watch, because 63 grams is very, very lightweight. Of course, it's got a quartz movement in it as well, so that will aid the lightweight part of the. It is very light and comfortable on the wrist. A 20mm lug width, so the strap I feel is suitable size. Reduces down to 18mm at the butterfly clasp. 30 meters water resistance as well, so you can splash around with it, but I wouldn't suggest going swimming for too long in it at all. The movement is a Swiss-made movement, which is a good plus. It's a Ronda 704. Nothing really exciting to mention about that, apart from it's very, very thin, which will obviously again help with the thin profile of the watch. It's quartz, so 5 years battery life. Pretty accurate, pretty reliable as well. Not a lot to go wrong with it at all. So in that regard, it will be a good solid performer for many years to come. Okay, so let's have a look at each element individually. So first off, let's have a look at the dial. The base of the dial is ceramic, so that's a nice little touch. It's got a nice reflective property to it, and it's not a pure white. It's almost like a slightly off creamy white, which is quite nice and classy, almost like a bit ivory feeling. So that's a nice colour. And then we have these pitched elements. So all of these applied hour markers and the hands are all pitched in the centre. So when you hit the light just right, provides a really nice reflective property to the whole dial. You notice they're quite three-dimensional as well. So they have like a base which is pitched, and then they go down towards the point as well. So very nice, close attention to detail, and it's all really well manufactured and finished and put together as well. Let me just move the hand out of the way. You can see we have a cheeky little date window located at 6, very subtle, nicely cut out as well, so it's got a very slight border to it, as you can see, and a matching white date wheel to it as well. The printing is very minimal. We have just literally the logo in the top there, and then this running seconds track around the outside. Well, it's more of a minute track because there is no seconds hand, but the printing is all very fine and pretty good to the naked eye, so no complaints there whatsoever. Design wise, obviously very simple, very minimalist, not a lot going on here, so not a lot that can go wrong with it. I personally think it looks really nice. I do like the shape of the hour markers. I think they're, you know, something a little bit different to the usual batons you would see. Um, so I think it's a really smart looking watch. Another point, moving on to the case, is this very wide, flat, brushed bezel, which again isn't something that you would usually see too much. So I think that's a really nice touch. And when you consider this this polished outer rim as well, it actually looks really high quality. The finishing is absolutely excellent on it. When you first take it out of the case, you know, it looks the part. It looks more expensive than it actually is. So, in that regard, I was quite wowed and impressed by the finishing of the case. Sitting on top of the case is a sapphire crystal. It has a very good anti-reflective coating. It's completely flat. Good anti-reflective coating on it as well. So when you're just looking at the watch, is the clarity of the crystal is very good. All major reflections are well managed by the coating as well. So it really does increase the appearance of a more expensive timepiece. So that's good to note. So moving on to the side profile, as you can see, we have a few different facets here. This polished top of the corner of the bezel, and then we have completely brushed sides, quite thin and spindly lugs, which are reasonably long actually. And then we have a crown on the side with the logo etched on it. So the crown is quite small. Obviously, with it being quartz, you're unlikely to be using it often. So in that regard, it's not that bad an issue. But sometimes it can be quite difficult to get your fingers in. And I think the logo could probably be engraved a tiny bit deeper, but you know, it's certainly better than the usual laser printing you would usually see. Moving on to the case back, we have an interesting motif on the back with some details, and then we have a number there, which is the serial number. This is all quite light actually, so you can't necessarily see it too well. Personally, I probably would have preferred it to be a little bit more refined, a little bit deeper engraved, so it makes a bit more of a better impression. This case back is secured in with 6 screws. So that's quite a nice touch rather than the usual screw-in case back. So that's my only thought about the entire case. Obviously, it is quite lightweight, so when you're not necessarily when you're wearing the watch, but when you've got the watch in your hand, it is quite lightweight. So for some people, it may feel like not necessarily on the cheaper side of things, but certainly not. When you get a really heavy, high quality feeling watch, you can tell the weight. Is because of the quality. So in this instance, because it is so lightweight, some people may mistake that for it being a bit cheap and flimsy. But I think the finishing of the watch goes against that, and you can tell that it is a well finished watch. Moving on to the strap then, very nice deep oaky brown colour, very comfortable on the underside. We have logo stamped, and it's finished off with a very nice butterfly clasp. So it's nice to see a little bit of engraving there, polished and brushed in various aspects, so nice variety of finishing. And then when you close it, we have a brush top with the logo quite deeply engraved on that, so that's nice to use. So if I just put it on, so the strap is obviously 20mm going down to 18mm, so in my eyes it's a very nice fit to the case. Feels good on the wrist as well, nice and soft, and quite a soft top as well, very malleable, supple, so easy to wear. Okay, so let's just get the macro lens on then, and we'll have a look at it in closer detail. So let's start off with the dial. So here we have the printing. You can see there, very nicely done. And there's the hour, the minute markers printed on. And then the applied hour markers, you can see there, nice and three-dimensional, very nicely manufactured and applied as well. So they're nicely done. Moving on to the hands. These are pitched. Again, very well machined, pretty flawless. Then we have the date window at 6. So a nice little border to it as well. Nice close attention to detail there. Okay. So moving on to the case. Here we have this brushed top of the bezel with the highly polished corner and a very nice edging to it. You can see the quality of the machining of the case there. Such a good line there. And then we have this side. So considering it's so small and thin, it's actually surprisingly intricate, the case. Moving on to this side, we can have a look at the crown. So there's the logo, polished tip of the crown as well. Very small. There we go. And then moving on to the case back. So we have these screws which are holding it in place. And then the motif on the case back with the details. It doesn't look quite so bad when when we've got it close up like this, but to the naked eye it can be quite hard to distinguish the writing. But it's apart from that, it's very detailed, very nicely done as well. Okay, so moving on to the strap. Here's the top, the crocodile print with a nice variety of hues to it. Then on the underside, the logo printed. There we go. And then just a quick look at the butterfly clasp. So that's a nice touch to have the logo engraved there, because usually this is all completely plain. So it's quite nice to have that a little extra level of detail there. And then when we shut it, see the logo deeply engraved on the top there. Okay. Right, so £255, $345. It is slightly on the higher scale of of the kind of price you'd be looking at paying for a watch like this. There's other watches available which are quite similar, such as Brathwaite and Corniche, both of which I've reviewed before, sort of around the same price range, maybe a little bit less. But I do think that with the Ianuarius Ritchie, the level of craftsmanship is really, really high, especially on the case. It's one of those kind of watches that you just open up the case. By the way, the presentation case is outstanding as well. So make sure you look at my written review to have a look at some pictures of that. It's a beautiful piano wood polished case, very big, very luxurious. So you know, you've got to take that into consideration as well. It is the kind of watch that does impress quality upon you very quickly as soon as you open the box. So I certainly got that, and I don't get that too often, to be honest. When I first open a watch box, getting that initial like wow kind of feeling, I did get that with this watch. So that's saying something. I do think the case, you know, and the general finish of the watch and the dial, it's done to a really high standard. So for the price, about 250 quid, $345, it is a very nice timepiece. So I'm quite happy with it. It's very nice and easy. Very nice and easy to wear, thanks to the you know, the lightweight nature of the watch and the thin profile. So I certainly have enjoyed wearing it. Obviously the specs are good as well for the price. So Swiss made movement, nice size as well. So yeah, I personally have really enjoyed it. So this is the Ianuarius Ritchie JR001R, and that's what it's all about.